Hello and thanks for joining us on ISWB TV Daily Headlines. I am Mafen Pam. The Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has announced that the federal government has approved about $40 million for the construction of Nigerian-Cameroon border-linked bridge in Ikot, FM. He added that about $38 million will be spent on construction work, while $1.1 million will be spent on consultancy services. Acting President Osinbajo has declined assent to 4 bills amended by the National Assembly due to concerns surrounding compositions, foreign arrangement, limitation of liability of funds, and proposal to increase level of loans. The rejected bills are Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund, Currency Conversion Amendment Bill, Dangerous Drug Bill, and National Lottery Bill. In a letter to the Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has requested for the issuance of $15 million Euro bond in the international capital market to fund the 2016 budget deficit. The State Commissioner for Works and Housing in Taraba State has appealed to the federal government to refund over 27 billion naira spent on construction of federal roads in the state, following the need to put the money into constructing other access roads for increased economic activities. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has admitted that it had displayed inefficiency over the years in the management of the country's refineries, attributing the poor performance of the refineries to obsolete technology. Siki Aliyu, Managing Director of National Engineering and Technical Company, also disclosed the plans to build pipelines between Niger and Delta. President of the Association of Telecommunications Professionals of Nigeria, John Williams Adede, has advised the federal government as a matter of urgency to establish state information and communication technology regulatory agencies in all 36 states of the federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, as it will enhance the sector growth in the country. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission spokesperson, Williams Uwajeren, has announced the recovery of 17 exotic cars in the warehouse belonging to former Controller General of Customs of the Nigerian Customs Service, Alhaji Abdullahi Diko, sequel to intelligence report to the Commission. The Japanese International Cooperation Agency has completed and donated a 1.3 megawatt of clean energy by solar electricity generation system to Nigerian government, which is meant to power Abuja main source of water supply as Usma Dam to ease Abuja water shortage. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, has disclosed that the federal government is targeting the production of 7 million tons of rice by 2018 to meet the national consumption rate, also stating that the rise in the price of rice is as a result of increase in demand for the product. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has announced plans to export 1 million tubers of yam and other vegetables to the United Kingdom. The state has trained some personnel that will handle the exportation, which will create employment for the teeming youth in the state. That's it on Daily Headlines. I am Mafen Pam. Thanks for staying with us.
Hello and thanks for keeping a date with us on ISWB Market Updates. I am FEB Tukur. Overnight on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average ended up almost 0.2%, its 9th straight record close. That optimism, however, didn't flow through to other indexes, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite Index both closing about 0.1%. European markets were headed for a mixed start, with CMC markets expecting Britain's FTSE 100 to open 0.3% lower and German Zitrodax and France's CAC 40 to start the day slightly higher. Asian stocks steadied on other earlier losses, aided by a weaker dollar, as markets studied Federal Reserve meetings minutes that indicated both readiness and caution over raising interest rates. Japan's Nikkei 225 closed fractionally lower, while Australian shares ended the day down 0.35%. South Korea's shares were little changed after the central bank kept interest rates steady at 1.25% as expected for an 8th straight month. China's CSI 300 index was 0.5% lower after regulators circulated a draft of new rules for the asset management industry aimed at curbing financial risk. Hong Kong shares, which earlier on touched their highest level 6 September, pulled back to trade 0.3% below at the close. Now over to currencies. The dollar teetered between slight gains and losses as investors took note of federal policy makers' uncertainty over lack of clarity on President Donald Trump's economic program. The dollar index, which tracks the greenback against a basket of trade-weighted peers, inched up 0.1% at $101.33. The dollar stood slightly over 103 yen, just 0.1% firmer, having lost some of its earlier bounce following Wednesday's close of 0.7% tumble. The euro, steady on Wednesday, fell below $1,005 for the first time in 6 weeks on concern of anti-European Union candidate Marine Le Pen could win France's presidential election in May. That has been Market Updates. I am FEB. Thanks for staying with us.